The last 2 years have been a laboratory of change. The world as we know it has twirled, swiveled, and pivoted, depositing a dichotomy of what's normal. The 1920s workplace ushered in legislation in some industries mandating an 8-hour workday, and the work week fell to 50 hours. Influenced by such changes, business leaders argued across sectors for either goods and growth or for leisure time, which addressed the social construct that long hours were unhealthy, dangerous, and counterproductive, especially to marginalized groups such as women and children. In the 2022 workplace, we witnessed the Great Resignation. Leaders, what are you deciding to let go of this year in the face of this dichotomy? Do you argue the gospel of consumption for goods and growth, or do you argue on behalf of worker self-care? In this whirlwind of changes, we saw some business results exceed expectations. We also recorded a record number of women exiting the workplace in the face of competing priorities. As we honor Women's History Month, the letting go conversation will breathe life into solutions to rectify this exodus, as well as solutions to fix worker shortages. Leaders, add the letting go conversation to your strategic plan. You owe it to your consumers and your employees. Kimberly, what say you about the letting go conversation?
Thank you, Twiana. Before I get into what I'd like to recommend to share and let go of this year, I want to acknowledge that this is Women's History Month. And let us recognize the capacity of women to be nurturing and typically more comfortable with their emotional content. Leaders can learn from this presence of an emotional factor in managing their employees, such as the quality of nurturing, care, and empathy that women tend to bring into the workplace. These characteristics have been proven to be an intrinsic motivator for our employees to feel valued, connected, and understood. So I ask the leaders of today, what have you decided to let go of this year to ensure your capacity to lead and grow your teams individually and collectively to achieve their personal best? Many of you know that I'm a big on the power of human connection and the importance of in-person communication and the energy exchange to maximize the emotional connection between ourselves and our employees that is so necessary. So you might be surprised to hear me say that I'm encouraging my leaders in my coaching sessions to let go of the mindset that we cannot be effective leaders, have high engagement, community, and creativity if we are not seeing or meeting with our employees and clients in person. This, dear leaders, is the now of today's reality. Our future, hybrid or fully virtual environments, are now today. We can build connection, inclusivity, acceptance, and community, and we must let go of the belief that we cannot. Creative teams, employee-connected cultures, and community workspaces can be achieved, and the typically labeled female soft skills and high EQ are the keys to creating the strong engagement, community, and inclusivity in your now reality. Matt, what are you recommending that we let go of this year?
Thanks, Kimberly, and happy Women's History Month to you both. The Great Resignation has much to do with women's role in the workforce, especially those with the dual role of managing a household and juggling career and kids. Increasingly, there's a tremendous amount of emotional work being placed on us all, our family, our friends, our coworkers, and ourselves, dealing with the pandemic, now a war in Europe, and all against the backdrop of climate change. It can be emotionally overwhelming. We need leaders who will let go of the outdated stereotypes and envision a future that is more just, equitable, and inclusive. I found one such example in my own alma mater, Harvey Mudd College. In 2006, Dr. Maria Klaw was hired as the first woman president of Harvey Mudd. When she started, about 30% of the student body were women, about the same as when I attended about 20 years earlier. Today, women compose half of the student body. Further, 40% of the faculty are female. Dr. Klaw illustrates the possibility of transformative change in an organization when change is undertaken with intention. And she shows how you can let go of stereotypes like women aren't good at science and math. When women are given the opportunity, they can perform equally well to their male counterparts. Also, we need to let go of the idea that emotions aren't allowed in the workplace. We're human beings. We are emotional creatures, and it's important to acknowledge that fact, especially during challenging times. Successful leaders will intentionally create diverse and inclusive workplaces, ones that acknowledge our humanity.